Hello and welcome to our first lesson on rigid transformations. This is from Unit 1, Lesson 1. You are writing the rules for translations, which are slides, reflections, and rotations. We're going to use a program called Geogebra to do a translation by translating by what's called a vector. These notes can be found, of course, inside of your Google Classroom. If you want to find them, you can just go to your Google Classroom and under classwork, you will find it in the Unit 1 lesson notes for rigid transformations. If you need these notes, they're available to you. As you can see, I've added the coordinates for the first figure. You can download this and make it as large or small as you possibly want. But our first objective is to do translations. Of course, we know that we do translations in the coordinate plane. We're taking this pre-image, the blue image, and we're trying to write a rule for how can you move this blue image on top of the green image. They remain what we call congruent. So the line segments of the pre-image have the same length as the line segments of the image, and angles in the pre-image have the same measure as angles in the image. So our rule will be like if I want to take A and get it to move over here to A prime, I need to count. And I'm going to be adding or subtracting how much I move the first to the left. 1, 2, 3. So this would be X minus 3. And then 1, 2, Y minus 2. So when I write a rule, it will look like this. I would have to write, and you're going to be writing the rule X comma Y, close the parentheses, and an arrow. And so this figure in your book is X plus negative 1, 2, 3. But we don't want to write it like that, so we can just write it as X minus 3, comma, Y plus negative 2 or Y minus 2. And there you are. You've written your rule for this move. The X coordinate, you transfer minus 3 and then minus 2. So that takes us to what we want to do today is we're going to move this. We're going to translate it some distance over here. We did it in class and we moved point A over here, about 8 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4 down. But instead of doing it by pencil and paper, what we're going to do is we're going to use a program called Geogebra. So I want you to go to your Clever and you want to find Geogebra. It's a bunch of it's a circle with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. You might want to put that with a heart. You'll find it. You scroll down, and you will find it likely in the support apps. But I've already moved mine to my favorites, so you'll find it there. You're going to click on it and launch it. So you don't want to start with the calculator. That would be wrong. We're doing some geometry, so we need to do the math apps here. And geometry, you can see this is from geogebra.org, but you want to click on geometry, and you can just put a / geometry, and you're good to go. So let's take a look at what we had again. We had an X and Y axis, and we have a point A at negative 3, 5, a point B at negative 6, 5, and a point C at negative 6, negative 1. So we're going to need to build a triangle, and we're going to do that. But before we begin, you can make your scale smaller or larger. And if you happen to accidentally go way too far out, you can always hit the home button and it'll take you back to the default scale. You can also use the minus or plus button, or you can use your trackpad. So we want to build a triangle. You don't have to put them in the exact right spots at first. Just click on polygon. You're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4 times to build your triangle, and then go back to the move button. This is so that you don't accidentally build a second triangle or some line segments. If you mess up, you can always hit the undo button. And if you want it back, you can redo, undo, redo, and then we can start over again. I need to draw a triangle with clicking on all the vertices. That's the endpoints or vertices. And back to move. Now we want to know where these points are, so we're going to click on the letters and we're going to show value. I'll show you how to do that again. Click on the point and show value. Click on point C, click show value. We can see these points are not in the right spots. So I'm going to go back and look here. I want point A to be at -3, 5, -3. Uh-oh, my scale is not, I have to go out just a little bit. Or you can use the minus button or the plus button. -3, 5 for A. I want B at -6, 5. And then point C was at -6, 1. So now it's set up properly for the translation. But when I look over here, I don't have translate in here. So I am going to click on the more button. And I'm going to scroll down until I get to transformations. And I want translate by a vector. You can see it tells you what to do. You're going to select your object, your triangle, and then you're going to make a vector. And I'll show you how to do that. Later on, we're going to reflect about a line. We'll put a line in and reflect, and then we'll rotate. But we're going to get to that later. Right now, we're just on translate by vector. So select your object. Our object is the triangle. Click on it. And then we're going to pick a vector. I'm going to go up to A here. And I'm going to select A. Oops, I selected it too many times. So I'm going to go back to select my object. Single click. And now the vector is, you can see this is how I'm going to translate it. I actually want to translate it over here. I want to translate it 8 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to the right and 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So I haven't actually touched the button again or the trackpad. As long as I don't touch anything, I can move this vector back and forth. I can translate anywhere I want. But again, I want to go 8 to the right. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's at 5. So 8 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And then I click on the button. And since you had the labels already set up for you here and here, the image is all set up. So this is your pre-image, and this is your image. And we just need to write the rule. So how far does it go to the right? Well, there is actually a measure tool. We can use that. It says measure, length or distance. And I want to, since the grid is set up with horizontal and vertical lines, I want to measure how far I go to the right and how far I go down. Let's see if it'll measure to open space. If I click on that and click right there, it won't measure. Oh no. So what I need to do is I need to put a point out in space. There's a point D, I think, created right here, just to be aware of that. But I'm going to be counting to the right. So I need to put my point right here at 5, 5. I'm going to put a dot right there because that allows me to count how far it is from A to E. And then I'll count how far from E to A prime here, or you can't see it, but underneath there's a D. So I need to go back to measure. Oh, I like to go to move after I put something in there. And then we're back to measure. Now I can measure the distance from A to E. And it gives it to me really nice and neat, AE. And then if I measure here to here, it tells me E. And the point, of course, is behind there. There's a point created when you made your vector, ED. We can edit that. Let's go back up to basic tools, and we're going to just click on this. And we can change the color. I like orange. We can make it a little bigger. Let's make it medium size and bold. And we're not going to do any fill, but I'm going to do the same thing here. I want, let's make it red. Make it medium and bold. And I want to edit the name of it. So I want, instead of name D, I want, we'll call it A prime and see if that works. Oh, that didn't work. So I'm going to undo it and just leave it as ED. That's fine. I can edit it later. My last thing to do is I've completed this. So what I need to do is I need to capture my screen, and I played you a ed puzzle that showed you how to capture your screen. You can capture the entire screen or part of the screen. I have a capture of partial screen. I work on a Macintosh though. I'm going to copy that. Now what I need to do is I need to get a document open. So I'm going to go to my apps and get a document going. And you're going to be typing in, here is a blank document. You're going to type in your title, and I've already done it actually. You want to type in 3 rigid transformations: translation, slide, reflection, flip, and rotation turn. This is our translation, and we're going to write the rule, but first we need to put in the picture. So the easiest way is to insert an image. It should be the same for you if you're using a Google Doc. Upload from computer, and I put mine on the desktop. That's where the default location, and there it is. You can then frame it if you want. You can edit it, make it look nice. It's an image, so you can't go in and fix this anymore, but we do have this. Now I have a problem because, oops, I don't want to do that. I do want to write the rule. Now, from A to E is positive, so it is +8. Get rid of the A. It's on editing mode for some reason. Okay. And here we want, it's not 4 though, because we're going down. So you want to go with -4. But the problem is, I don't want +(-4). I just want -4. So I have corrected it, and I've written my rule. You can imagine the next one we're going to do is a reflection, and I'll walk you through that. And at the end, we'll have all 3, and you'll turn it in for 33 points.